Y'all, things got messy in court last night, and we're talking full-blown showdown between House Speaker Mike Johnson and Representative Jasmine Crockett. And trust, it was Crockett who left no crumbs. She straight up obliterated him in a legal face-off that had everyone in the courtroom shook and the internet on fire. Now, what started as a simple case tied to Crockett's advocacy took a sharp left into pure chaos when Johnson tried to steamroll her. Bad idea. The man brought courtroom shade, but she brought the thunder, already being called the moment of the night online. Before we dig in, drop where you're watching from in the comments. Smash that subscribe button if you're here for courtroom drama and political clapbacks. Crockett, she walked in like she owned the place. Cool, confident, ready to serve law and logic. Johnson tried to alpha his way through it, but she was 2 steps ahead the whole time. Judge didn't even let things warm up. "Can y'all keep this civil?" Crockett's reply. "I came for justice." Johnson raised an eyebrow. "Let's see who wins." And just like that, boom, the courtroom turned into the main stage of political theater. Okay, y'all. Court was last night. Speaker Mike Johnson thought he could clown Representative Jasmine Crockett and walk away. Spoiler alert, he got schooled. Dude straight up said her case was all heart, no law, like this was a reality show, not a courtroom. Crowd. Gasp. Crockett? Calm but deadly. Weak? Nah. My case is airtight. She hit him with quiet confidence, while the crowd started buzzing. You could see it. Johnson thought he had the upper hand. But this is Crockett we're talking about. She doesn't play. And what happened next? Total fireworks. Crockett leaned in with that "I'm about to ruin you" energy. This fight's for the people, not for your games. And Johnson came back swinging. "People? You're just chasing headlines." He said, "What?" The whole gallery leaned in. Phones were out. It was on. You could feel the shift. Crockett squared up. Johnson doubled down. The courtroom turned into a showdown stage, and let's just say it wasn't Johnson going viral for the right reasons. This ain't over. This was just the warm-up for the biggest courtroom clash of the year. Speaker Mike Johnson intensified his critique of Representative Jasmine Crockett's legal argument, characterizing it as performative. "This is rhetoric, not law," he said, his tone notably sharper than prior exchanges. His comments drew audible reactions from the audience as the tension in the chamber escalated. Crockett remained poised, responding that her case was airtight and that Johnson had underestimated her. Sources in the room noted a visible shift among attendees. Nods of agreement, heightened attention from court staff. Johnson pressed on, labeling her a politician unfit for legal analysis. Unfazed, Crockett asserted her legal grounding, reminding the chamber of her education and preparation. Her comments drew limited applause and more murmurs, a sign the gallery's mood was shifting. Security personnel quietly prepared for further disruption as the intensity grew. Johnson's escalation became pointed. "You're outmatched. I'll bury you," he said, a rare personal jab even for high-stakes hearings. Crockett held the line. "I'm here for justice. I know your tactics. I'll expose them." The back and forth, highly personal and highly public, had clearly become a flashpoint. Audience members recorded. Observers whispered. Some insiders believed the speaker overplayed his hand. The air was electric. Crockett gripped her documents and stood her ground. "Strategist?" she said. "Your moves are weak. I see through them." Her voice carried across the chamber, deliberate and commanding. Johnson leaned in, a sneer pulling at his mouth. "Expose what? You're loud, Crockett, not learn. This case will collapse." The reaction was instant. Gallery members rose. Some whispered, others stared. Court officers waved their arms for calm, but the storm had begun. Crockett's expression didn't waver. "Loudmouth?" she said, pacing slightly. "Number one, I speak truth. And my weapon is the law. You're unraveling, Mr. Johnson." The clash was no longer procedural. It was personal. Johnson's authority, once solid, was visibly cracking. Crockett had shifted the power in the room, and her words, anchored in law, soaked in purpose. "You're slipping," she warned, and the weight of it sank in. The speaker struck again, desperate now. "Your case is all posture," he barked. "Mine is grounded in real strategy." The gallery gasped. Crockett, calm, hit back without flinching. "You're citing flaws? Let me show you the truth. 1998 statute, section by section." Her voice was unflinching. This wasn't rhetoric. It was brilliance, and she was in full command. The gallery swelled, sound and tension ricocheting off courtroom walls. Officers on edge, unsure whether to intervene or just brace. Then Johnson struck. "You think you're a master? You're dreaming, Crockett? You're out of your depth." Crockett didn't blink. "Dreamer," she said, voice low and sharp. "I'm turning this tide." It landed like a thunderclap. Cheers broke out. Phones rose. Johnson, jaw set, fired again. "You're a politician, not a player. I'll crush you." But the courtroom had turned. The battle wasn't just verbal. It was strategic, electric. Crockett stood taller. "Crush me? My arguments are ironclad. You'll learn today." Her words deliberate. Her presence undeniable. Johnson tried to hold ground. "Ironclad?" he said, voice strained. "You're just a showboat." But the weight was slipping. Applause broke through. Voices surged. Crockett remained still, then fired. "Showboat? My logic cuts. Brace yourself, Johnson." The chamber flared. Officers tried to control the chaos. Sources reported one guard's voice crackling over radio. "She's owning him." Crockett pressed again. "Your strategy's falling apart." "My law wins." She raised her brief, precise, deliberate, as Johnson cut in. "Prevails? You're finished," he barked, but his voice cracked. The crowd lost it. Papers tossed. Stream started. Crockett stood firm. "Finished? I'm just warming up," she said. And in that moment, the narrative changed. Johnson's confidence shattered. The courtroom was charged, not with chaos, but precision. And in that precision stood Jasmine Crockett, Texas Congresswoman, transforming a political showdown into a masterclass in legal firepower. The speaker never saw it coming. Mike Johnson staggered under the weight of her logic. Social feeds detonated, but in the chamber, Crockett's voice rang out. "I'm just warming up." And then the fatal blow. Her maneuver, crafted with chilling calculation, dismantled Johnson's framework piece by piece. She stepped forward. "Your strategy's crumbling. My law's a fortress." The words struck like thunder. She invoked an obscure precedent, exact, unshakable. Johnson, exposed, offered a weak protest. "You're a politician, not a master." But the room already knew the truth. The tension cracked open. Some gasped, others clapped. The court officers froze. Johnson pushed forward, desperation thick. "This court sees through you." She didn't flinch. She closed the distance. "I've dissected your flaws. You're losing." Her voice didn't rise. It sharpened. The gallery erupted, not in chaos, but in awe. She wasn't just arguing. She was rewriting the terms. A single headline ignited across social media. "Crockett schools Johnson." The courtroom's silence shattered as Speaker Johnson's voice broke. "You're a dreamer, Congresswoman. You're done." But the chamber was tilting. Cheers erupted. Whispers crawled. "He's the speaker." Yet Crockett stood unwavering. "Done," she countered. "My laws are blades, Mr. Johnson. Your argument's cut." Her tone surgical, clinical. The document in her hands, a scalpel, one that filleted his entire position. Johnson froze, eyes wide, hands trembling. "Cut," he muttered. "You're audacious, Ms. Crockett." but the tide had already turned. The audience surged, filming, gasping. Crockett's Genius Live hit every feed, screens filled with her calm defiance. Millions watched. "Audacious?" she asked. "I'm your match. Feel it." Her words became weaponized intellect. Johnson, meanwhile, faltered, clutching at pages like lifelines. "You're a performer," he tried, his voice cracking. "I'll stand firm." But Crockett cut through. "Performer? I'm a legal titan. Your bullying ends now?" Her voice echoed, final, unforgiving. The gallery exploded. Crowds rushed forward, chanting. Johnson backed away. "Your points." "Noted," he whispered. The moment sealed itself in legal lore. What happened in that courtroom wasn't just a victory, it was a reckoning. Jasmine Crockett didn't win by accident. She engineered his collapse. "I'm a legal titan, Mr. Johnson." The words cut clean, forcing his voice to drop into concession. "Your points noted." Around them, chaos. The courtroom buckled under the weight of what had just occurred. Officers hesitated, the moment too big. Online feeds teetered on the edge of explosion. Crockett's unraveling of Johnson's position became a defining, irreversible shift. Even as silence threatened to return, Crockett stood unwavering. "I'm your match, Mr. Johnson." Her voice didn't shake. She placed her brief, flawless deadly and stepped back. A beacon of command. Across from her, Johnson crumbled into the seat's shadows, his words barely a murmur. "The court hears you." The gallery detonated, chanting, gasping. The name Jasmine rang out like a bell. Officers tried to contain it, but the crowd wasn't interested in order. The chamber's lights caught Crockett's stance. Steady, unstoppable. Witnesses say crowds surged. Phones flashed. "She's a genius!" someone shouted. Others simply watched the speaker, defeated, diminished. Court staff froze. Radios buzzed frantic. "Keep it live," someone stammered. Johnson's bench, now a relic to Crockett's power. But it wasn't the volume that made this moment seismic. It was her brilliance. "Your bullying's done," she said. And that was it. The final blow. Johnson's bowed head told the truth. X erupted, the image of his stunned silence, immortal. The headline was already viral. Before the dust settled, Crockett's law prevails. Cameras caught her in mid-turn, exuding a quiet confidence as she left the stand. The footage everywhere. Millions watched her dismantle Johnson in real time. Analysts say the courtroom itself paused to absorb it. No interruptions, no objections, just truth, delivered at full force. In the shadows behind the bench, her team regrouped, breathless. A private moment escaped the frenzy. A soft smile, a quiet statement. "I fought for truth." Her voice was a whisper, resolute and final. Security flanked her as the chamber buzzed with tension. Johnson sat, hands braced. "We'll continue," he said with a tremor of resolve. The crowd simmered, phones still rolling. A wave of cheers rolled as court officers cleared the aisles. The night closed with a glow, not victory, but vindication. Outside the courtroom, the reaction went nuclear. One headline screamed, "Crockett humbles Johnson." Another, "She redefined power." Analysts didn't mince words. She'd flipped the entire room with strategy and force of will. And the internet? Literature Crockett wasn't just trending. She was untouchable. A firestorm of respect followed, burning into the wider political arena. This wasn't a courtroom win. This was a reckoning. Crockett's crossfire logic cracked Johnson open in real time. "The court hears you," was all he could offer. And that line became the echo that shook the walls long after the gavel dropped. It wasn't just a courtroom victory. It was a reckoning. Jasmine Crockett, Texas Congresswoman and fierce legal mind, turned what should have been a quiet hearing into a public spectacle that scorched its way across the digital landscape. Johnson's plan to dominate with bravado backfired. His authority scorched. Crockett didn't just defend. She dismantled. As the gavel dropped, the chamber still trembled. She moved like someone who'd carried the weight of justice and laid it down with precision. Her team flanked her exit, her voice calm but unshakable. I fought for truth. Behind her, the courtroom echoed with static awe. And then the tweet. Law speaks louder than bullies. It detonated online. Hundreds of thousands of likes within hours. Clips of Johnson's stunned stare cycled endlessly. Her composed brilliance captured from every angle. A viral storm whipped through every platform. She schooled him, one user wrote. Brain topples bully, another posted, as memes stacked high. Critics tried to cut through. This is just performance, they said. But the noise drowned them out. Johnson vanished from the spotlight. His next move? Quiet. Strategic. Aides refused comment. Political watchers speculated. Had his armor cracked? Analysts warned of a reshaped hierarchy. She didn't just win, she flipped the order. Still, others whispered, his silence might be strategy. The gallery's chants became hashtags. Crockett wasn't just trending, she was crowned. Supporters called her unstoppable. A titan, said one post, multiplying with every share. Still, the pushback came weekly. She's no lawyer, but the internet had made up its mind, and it had chosen her. Did Crockett outmaneuver Johnson? The viral clips dissecting her legal brief paint a clear picture. Brilliance. Johnson was overwhelmed, a pundit admitted, forecasting this moment will bolster Crockett's rising political profile. Public momentum behind her is palpable, her image sharper, more radiant than ever. Sources hint she's quietly planning her next strategic play, perhaps a national address or an expanded legal advocacy campaign. Her quiet confidence echoes loudly. This victory is no fleeting triumph. It's a lasting crown. Political watchers note her influence now carries undeniable weight under the scrutiny of both media and the legal community. Experts call this a turning point. The courtroom is evolving, favoring bold, confident advocates while cautioning others that rigid tradition may become obsolete. Public opinion? Divided. Half awed, half cautious. But one thing's certain, she dismantled a powerhouse. Johnson's position took a notable hit. This clash has become a defining cultural moment. Crockett's ascent is unmistakable. Johnson's bruised legacy is now part of viral history. Her intellectual reach expands. His tactics recalibrate. The fight's far from over. It's merely ignited. Stay tuned. Crockett's next legal move. Johnson's response. For those addicted to this saga, subscribe now. Don't miss what comes next.